Hi everybody, I'm Phil Fatika and welcome back to the Millcreek Government Channel. Two very special people for you to meet today. One you may not be familiar with and one you know a great deal about. Let me introduce you to Janelle. I believe the last name is Bonsell.
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 Correct.
And Janelle is going to become the incoming board chair of what you can see behind us, and that is the United Way. She is currently a CPA and she's a partner at Schaffner, Knight and Minna. You like numbers.
I do.
And then you're in the right business. Speaking of liking numbers, the gentleman sitting next to Janelle is a gentleman I don't think needs any introduction, Bill Jackson. Bill is the president of the United Way. Congratulations on that. You've been a long-time president.
Thank you, Phil. About 5 years, yeah.
5 years already. Oh my goodness, the United Way. Well, we all know what the United Way is, but they're here to flesh it out and tell you some more good things that they have ongoing. That's just more than maybe what you expected. By the way, congratulations, you will become the new board chair shortly?
Yes, starting in February of 2016.
That's nice. That's very, very nice. United Way been around about 100 years, about a century, but Erie today is certainly a lot different than it was in the 1900s. Yeah. Should we let the gentleman go first and then the lady can respond?
Absolutely.
How have we changed? 100 years.
Well, yeah, again, 100 years is a very long time, and in that span of time, we've seen some differences. You know, when we were first formed, it was actually the Social Service Federation of Erie, and it was about 11 nonprofits coming together, and basically the goal was to have a single campaign and raise as much money as they could raise in a given year, and that was pretty much the business plan for most of our history. And so if you would say, what's your goal? Our goal was to, raise X dollars. Since that time, actually about a few years ago, our board sat back and said, we've raised a lot of money, done a lot of good things in the community. We could, spend our whole time right now, Phil, talking about those successes. And yet we still have this unacceptably high rate of poverty. At that point, there were over 15,000 children in Erie County living in poverty.
Right.
And by the way, don't ask me what an acceptable rate of poverty is. I don't know it, but it's not
zero
that.
As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's not that. And so our board said, maybe we should do something different. And what they came to was realizing that our goal isn't to raise money, although we need to do that. Our goal is to improve the community, specifically to reduce poverty in Erie County. And so we, again, still have to raise as much money as we can because we can't operate and do the work we do without those funds. But the money is a means to an end. It's not an end into itself. And that's been a big shift for us.
There's the word for you, the second question I have on my list is that the term self-sufficiency has been out there quite a bit when you're talking about moving people really out of poverty, and is there a difference between a poverty level and being self-sufficient?
Absolutely. The poverty level are governmental levels. They're out there and they're published. Self-sufficiency standards are generally 2 times those. So where your poverty level is, self-sufficiency is much higher than poverty level. So we really want to focus on self-sufficiency, not just poverty. That's the important fact here.
Not on my list of questions, but generally speaking, poverty level in Erie County, Erie City, whatever, I know it varies where you live, what area you live in, but as an overall number, we're looking at what?
Countywide, I think it's around 26%, but a city, it's almost double that.
Okay.
At least half the children in the city of Erie live in poverty.
And that's a governmental number that decides that?
It is,
General?
absolutely, yes.
Okay, all right. Well, you stated, be in line with the goal of self-sufficiency there. It really is, as we all know, it has been a persistent problem. It continues to be a persistent problem. It seems to be growing, and it just doesn't seem to be any way that's damming it up and stopping it up. And that is distressing to me in my job that this is going on. I can't imagine living in poverty. I can't imagine it. I know it's inconceivable to me. So what is United's Way strategy to address this issue? You've got 5 years to discuss that, by the way.
Well,
or at least 2 hours.
Yeah, thank you very much. So as I said earlier, our board decided we needed to work differently. So part of it was to realign our goal. But then the other part was to realize that if we just keep doing what we've been doing, we're going to get the same result. It was Einstein's definition of insanity, essentially. And I'll give you an analogy to talk about how we see our role in the community moving forward. In the Disney movie, Finding Nemo, there's a scene where the fish are being caught up on a net from a fishing trawler. Yeah. And they're just swimming all kinds of different directions trying to escape the net, and the net keeps getting pulled up closer to the boat, closer to the boat. And the fish Nemo realizes if they all swim in the same direction, if they all swim down, they can break the net. And so he gets them to swim the same direction, and it's a very dramatic scene, and they break the net and they all get away. And the analogy is that our community is caught in a net of poverty. And United Way is trying to play the role of Nemo to get all of the really good programs and services and organizations and volunteers and you name it that are out there doing their own good work over here, over here, over here, to line up and get in the same direction. And we're seeing results already. We're seeing other organizations saying, you know what, that makes a lot of sense. The idea is not that it's your agenda, it's really a community agenda. And so to communicate that is really half the battle.
Okay. I'm going to come back to you in a minute, but I'm going to give you the feed into the video that you brought. So using the NEMO approach, which makes perfect sense to me, getting everybody to work collectively towards the same goal. Can you just a little bit more detail on that, or does the film you brought explain that?
Yeah, so we brought a short video, and basically we're trying to put a face to this strategy. Because we really understand that it's what happens to individuals that collectively impacts what happens to our community. So we created a friend called Jamie, and it's a very short story, but it talks about the difference between Jamie, who doesn't have a community of support around him or her. Jamie's either him or her, and a community that does come together. So we could take a look at that.
Meet Jamie. Like many children in Erie County, Jamie lives in poverty and needs our help to succeed. Unfortunately, Jamie is among many children in our community entering kindergarten unprepared. And in a few years, Jamie will be among the nearly 1/3 of Erie County children who score below proficient on 3rd grade reading. The reality is, Jamie will be more likely to drop out of school and get involved with drugs and crime and end up in prison. 4 out of 5 inmates are high school dropouts. Seems hopeless, huh? Actually, through United Way, there is plenty we can do. We can prepare Jamie for school. We can make sure Jamie is successful in school. We can prepare Jamie for the future. We can empower Jamie's family and ensure their stability. A more stable family creates a more stable Jamie. A more stable Jamie means a more stable community. Isn't that what we all want?
I really enjoyed that. I've watched it a couple of times. I hope you enjoyed it. You can is it available for viewing on your website?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
UnitedWayErie.org/video.
Yeah, it makes a great deal of sense. So let's get a little bit more specific than just the video we just saw. In front of you, and you will see this too, is at the top there's like a pyramid, sort of a building up. You want to secure and maintain employment. Easier said than done. How do we do that? You
really
work every day, you work every day,
Absolutely.
I work every day.
Yep.
Everybody doesn't work every day.
No. You know, it starts at the bottom of this continuum. It's kind of like a staircase. So the foundation is, first we need to make sure that everyone's emergency and basic needs are met.
Maslow's pyramid. You
Basically,
want to go from the bottom up. Okay.
It's basically that. So we define emergency and basic needs as food, shelter, clothing. Also, services for older adults and persons with disabilities, services that help people that are victims of crime or domestic violence, and also natural disasters. You know, think of what the Red Cross does, that kind of work. So we want to make sure that's met first.
Okay, so you get the next one there. The born and stay healthy.
Sure.
We're all pretty good in that respect.
Absolutely. But what happens is, if you have an issue where something isn't right, you're not healthy, you've got a child that isn't healthy, that puts you back into a different spectrum. You're focusing on other things. You're not focusing on doing well in the community, being involved, getting a better job. So this, again, put you behind. If in fact there are safety net programs, things that allow you children to be born and stay healthy, then you can look forward and get to the next level.
I noticed on her wrist she's wearing the Stay United. You,
Yes.
you can show that off. You can,
Yes,
you
the
can
Live
flash
United
that
band.
piece
Yes,
of
yes,
jewelry.
yes,
That, hold it up. They got
Yes, yes, and
that's
if
the
you can
shot
see
right
this,
there.
Live
Stay
United.
United.
There you go.
That's
Yeah.
very important.
Very
Absolutely.
important.
So we're moving from the basic needs, and you really would move towards more self-actualization because you're able to do these things. So you're born, you stay healthy. I would tend to say that all three of us are highly educated, and you got the one after that in our kindergarten ready, pre-K.
Yeah, actually the next four are education related, because education, once you have your basic needs met and you have your health met, then education is the key to self-sufficiency. This entire graph framework is leading us to having more self-sufficient.
Right.
And as we define self-sufficiency, it's being able to meet your basic needs without the need for public or private assistance. So that's the goal. That's where this whole thing is going.
Yes.
So we start with education. We talk about being ready for kindergarten. Last numbers I saw, they just came in, about half of the children who reach kindergarten are not considered ready.
Well, let's talk about pre-K for PA. There seems to be a political issue. This is a toss-up question. Either one of you take it. I'm for it. I don't know why we don't have it. My daughter teaches in New Jersey, and in one of the schools she teaches in, they have 33 classes of pre-K for PA. My son-in-law is the teacher, is in another district. They have 4 classes.
Wow.
Way up? Not so much. Why the disparity? The question, the answer is so simple. Kindergarten is the new first grade.
Oh, it is. It's proven by research, longitudinal studies, that
Yes.
quality pre-K is one of the best investments we can make. Depending on the study, it returns anywhere from $7 to $12 to $15 per dollar invested in terms of not having to deal with kids being behind in school later on, and then ending up like the dark side of Jamie's story, you know, the idea of possibly being in prison because you weren't reading at grade level.
It's that old Fram filter commercial.
It is.
Pay me a little bit now, pay me a whole
sure.
lot later.
For sure.
Okay? Yeah.
For sure.
So you got the enter kindergarten, you got the being able to read.
And the
Either
third
one?
grade is key because what they're telling us, you know, educational experts are telling us that kids are learning to read up through third grade, but then after that, they're really reading to learn. And if you can't make that switch because you're not reading at grade level, that's when we start to see the discrepancies. Right. That's where we start to see the differences between the kids that are going to be successful and those that may not if they don't get some help.
Middle school is always puberty. And there's a great line in that new movie Inside Out. It's about the characters in the young girl's head. And near the end, as she's leaving 11 and she's moving towards 12, and they see a new button on the emotional scene.
Sure.
And they go, "What is puberty?" And they go, "Don't touch that button! Don't touch that button!" Anyway,
Sure.
middle school is a whole other set of things.
Sure, and middle school is tough. I mean, that's
it is.
the age when we're changing and becoming adults. And if you don't have the right guidance, the right supervision, the right direction, you could easily get lost in middle school. So what we're looking for are the programs that support kids able to get through middle school successfully, learning, growing into high school, and then being able to graduate from high school.
And in high school has a whole other set of things too. Keep going with high school. There,
Absolutely. Well, and
We'll give
in
you the
high
rest, too.
school, what we find is there's kids that get lost. You know, they're a couple. We met a gentleman who is a couple credits short from graduating from high school. There is a program that a caring adult in his life got him signed up for. He went through the program over the summertime, got the credits he needed, and then was looking to college. So he got his credits, he graduated, and he's looking to college. Where otherwise he would have been the student that would have said, well, I'll get my GED someday. I'm done.
Someday.
And so that program helped him, and he's off to the next level.
Speaking from somebody who's done this as an educator, the GED test is not easy. Finishing high school, much, much easier.
I'm telling you.
Mr. Jackson, you got the next two up there.
All right, so we've graduated from high school, but we want to make sure that we're career ready.
Yeah.
So you don't just get the diploma, but you've got enough information that you have a plan, whether it's college, technical school, employment, military, whatever it might be. So the important thing is that they don't graduate and say, I don't know what I'm going to do. So career readiness is critical, and that starts early. I mean, this is asking a kindergartner, what do you want to be when you grow up? This is talking to an 8th grader about what do you want to course
Play
you want to schedule
Minecraft.
Right,
you know,
right.
what do you want to schedule in high school? You know, that kind of thing. And then securing and maintaining employment. And this is where we might have programs that work with adults who might need some job training or financial literacy programs, those kinds of things.
I taught at college, but I still am of the belief that people need to build this desk. People need to make this mug. People need to repair those TV cameras.
Right.
And the vocational aspect, I believe Central Tech is involved in that, is just as valued as anybody else.
Right.
Somebody needs to build those locomotives. And there's dignity in work. And it doesn't matter what you're doing, there's dignity in work. And I think that's what I hear you saying here. But you've got to be ready to go do it.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Are you being successful? Are you finding that people are receptive? Let the lady have this just from her.
That's a great question. Change is scary. Nobody likes change. So that's the first step of this.
Okay.
Explaining, talking about what we're up to. We're not cutting funding. We're not rearranging the atom bomb here. We're looking to say, what is the problem? How can we fix that?
Okay.
The problem is poverty. So when we explain what the process is, we explain that we're realigning, we're getting the Nemos to swim in the same direction, that's the piece that gets people excited. We did a strategic plan 5 years ago when this came about. And after that plan, we kind of sat back and said, wow, this is really a game changer. Let's test the waters. Key employees, leadership of the United Way, excited about it, ready to go out there and run with this. Family, our volunteer families, fantastic, they loved it. They liked that they could get their arms around something that looked like it could make a difference.
Yes.
And so the key now is, I mean, statistics show there's over 500 agencies in Erie County. That's a big number.
Huge.
If these agencies work together, not all of them, half of them, a fourth of them, 150 agencies working towards the same goal, not changing, just changing the directive of what they're doing towards these types of programs. That's the collective impact we're talking about. That's what's exciting.
You're
That's how
passionate
they change.
about this? You're
Absolutely.
compassionate about
Yes.
it? How'd you get involved?
You know, I have been a United Way giver for years,
Okay.
and always liked what they did. Never really understood it, but I knew
You
it was
got my
doing
money,
something
I'm
right. You know,
happy.
exactly. Once I started figuring out what it was and how it impacts people and seeing the firsthand, that's the icing on the cake. So willing to give my time and my money is important. Looking for those that are willing to do the same thing, and there are a lot of good people in the area, a lot of good groups giving their time and treasure. I want to make sure as part of the board, and they've done this for many years now, that money, that time is treated with care and put to the right places that give the most impact. And this, to me, does that.
Besides poverty, which is the big 600-pound gorilla in the car, for sure, is there anything else that also impedes this? Or is poverty it? You get rid of poverty, you get rid of a lot.
Well, you know, when we first said poverty is our issue, self-sufficiency is our goal, occasionally folks would say, yeah, but what about violence? What about teen pregnancy? What about... Well, poverty is the root of all of those things. Right. And if it's not the root of it, it ends up being the result of it. So we are addressing all of those issues, we think, in the way that's going to change the community. And that's the key. We have to change the community. We set a goal, it's actually a challenge to all the fish in the sea, that 10,000 more families in Erie County would become self-sufficient by the year 2025. And occasionally someone would say, well, that's great, you're going to help 10,000 families, but if you don't change community conditions, 10,000 more families are just going to slip in right behind them.
Yeah.
And the answer is exactly, we need to change the conditions. That's the whole point of picking a big number like 10,000.
Okay.
It has to be motivating, it has to be big.
And when you're talking about conditions, you're talking about?
We're talking about kids not being ready for kindergarten, not reading at grade level.
Okay, we're talking about the things we just reviewed there. I can tell you from my other job that when it costs a lot of money to put people in prison.
Yeah.
Costs a lot of money to keep them there. If they didn't go there, you wouldn't have such a big tax bill, because a lot of the money goes to keeping the prison people in prison and doing the things that you need to do. So I like what you're saying, and I hope that the public is liking what you're saying too. Are you getting positive feedback? Are you getting contributions saying, well, yeah, we can do it that way, and we can also do it this way? Are you willing to share some of that advice you've received?
This continuum, this framework that we're talking about, we just developed it this year. It's actually based on a national model. We didn't invent it, but we adapted it locally.
That's okay, yeah.
And we've been taking it out as we make campaign presentations, asking folks to give to United Way. And one of the things I do at the end is I say, does anybody have any questions? And usually they don't. And then I say, can I ask you a question? And I hold this up and I say, does this help you understand better what United Way does? Does this help you understand better where your money goes?
Yes.
By the way, 99 cents of every dollar we raise stays right here in Erie County. That's
Say that
important.
again, that's worth repeating.
Yeah, 99 cents of every dollar we raise in Erie stays in Erie.
Yeah, it doesn't go to someplace else for administrative buying
it's here.
stamps or something.
And it's going to accomplish this. And then we can show them more specifically. You can go on our website and see the list of actual programs and agencies that we fund that meet these milestones.
And again, the website is?
It's unitedwayerie.org.
Real simple.
Real simple.
Okay. There's so much to be said about what you people do and how often you've been doing it and all of the people. God, I'm looking here. Meals on Wheels, you have the Salvation Army, the Deaf and Hard of Hearing, Cleft Palate, the Hospitality House, SafeNet. In fact, I went to SafeNet today and dropped off a couple of our cell phones that we no longer use, cleaned them off, set them back to zero because they can use those as emergency 911. By the way, if you've not, don't throw your cell phone away if you're no longer using it. Go into settings. Go tell somebody how to use it. Go ask somebody how to clean it off, and you'll feel really, really good about that. This is a great booklet. You have your programs, initiatives, and movements. You have the Bayfront Maritime Center, Big Brothers, Big Sisters. You want to talk about these? I'll just go away and come back in August. So go ahead. Any one of those you can just discuss.
Well, actually, let's talk about this pamphlet first.
Absolutely.
I think what's interesting is, for years, the focus was on United Way and making sure United Way was doing the right things. People were asking, where is my money going?
Where's it going, as you just said, right?
And so we put this together because not only does this tell you where it's going, it also identifies what key level we're working towards.
Yep.
So if you have a passion towards reading at third grade level, you can see the programs and the agencies that we fund related to those items.
Yeah, right.
So it's a plethora of opportunity here. Not one agency, many agencies are involved.
I can tell you as a school teacher, when the kids can't read, and believe me, I taught reading in college. Okay, it was remedial.
Oh boy.
Because they went reading, oh, I can't read, my mother couldn't read, that's okay, I'll never be a reader. I mean, you know, you want to talk about excuses, the dog ate the homework? This beat that hands down, you know?
Right.
Nah, can you read that? No, don't care.
Yep.
Don't care.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, that
That's a
reading
problem.
thing hits them like a brick wall, and yeah, I'm glad you said that. This booklet, if you can, where are we? Which camera are we going to be on this one? Okay, we're on, there we go. You can get a hold of this booklet. It tells you exactly where that money that you donate to the United Way goes to. Now, how do we donate? We haven't discussed that.
Oh,
do I stroke a
great.
check? Do I use a MasterCard Visa? Do I
way
give
you
you
want.
cash? Do I come to a fundraiser?
Sure, absolutely, all of the above.
All of the above. Most of the money is raised in workplaces where folks give a little bit out of their paycheck every week or two. And that enables someone who might give $1 a week, that's a $50 donation. They may not have $50 on them right now, but over the course of the year.
Yeah.
But you can also go to our website, look for donate, and there's credit card options. You can mail in donations. Just call us on the phone, 456-2937, and ask, and we'll give you whatever answer.
You doing okay in that department?
Yeah.
The Erie, I'll come back to you in a minute. The Erie Food Bank says that if you give us $1, we can turn it into 17.
Right.
You're not quite at that level yet, are you? I mean,
Not in that way. Other than I mentioned the investment in early childhood as an example.
Okay.
But one of the things that we do, because sometimes people say, well, you know, I can just give right to these agencies. Why do I need to go through
Why
you?
give to you? Yeah.
And the main reason is the fact that. Two reasons. One is that it's coordinated so that we're making sure your money is going to things that strategically make sense. Secondly, every program has to submit results to us every 6 months that tells us we're accomplishing what we said we would.
In a sense, as an audit, then.
In a sense.
And you're the auditor, so you were going to say.
Well, you know, one of the things that we found, the Imagination Library.
Oh, yeah.
This is a great program.
Amazing.
A great program. Essentially,
Tell them what it is.
Well, for basically, where am I? We put books into children's hands. They get one book a month from age 1 to age 5.
Isn't that amazing?
Hard copy gets mailed to their home in the child's name. Amazing.
You get
So
something in
we're
the mail.
putting books in children's hands right now.
New books?
New books. Age-appropriate books through the Dolly Parton Foundation. So this library that these children have in their homes now, their children are reading. What was interesting is we were putting into homes, and all of a sudden we found out parents didn't know how to read. So we started a program called Reading Buddies, where parents learn how to read to their children as well as what they're reading. So not just reading the book and the words, but how to read it, how to be interactive with the reading. So this stemmed from books going into homes. Another great program that when you ask, how is the program doing or how are we doing here, that tells me we're seeing it. The other thing in the workplace giving, the opportunity on the form to mark, I want to put $1 a week out of my pay to support United Way. There's also a box. I want to pay $30 for the year that puts one book in a children's hands for the entire year. That is resonating.
I like that.
Families, people are selecting that because they understand that.
That was Janelle Bonsell. Bonsell saying that. I like that because I'm a voracious reader. But I know I always wasn't a voracious reader. To me, school was where's the girls, where's the beer, where's the party. I grew up a little bit though. Bill, we got a short period of time left, and I'm sorry, I know you will become the chair and you will become, in a sense, his boss. But for right now, he's the boss,
Please.
and you got about 2 minutes to wrap it up for us. And that's your camera right there.
Oh, okay, great. Well, Phil, again, thanks so much for having us.
It's our pleasure.
We really appreciate it, and it's a privilege for us to be able to come and talk to the community, to let everyone know where we are with United Way. You know, there's a lot of misconceptions. Some people, as we talked about the money staying local, some people don't get that. The idea that we add value to the contributions, and the other concept is that any donation at all is appreciated and helpful. It all goes to great work. But bottom line is we're not doing it alone. There are a lot of people and organizations in this community that are doing really good work. We're talking with our friends, for example, at the Erie Community Foundation. We are working hand in hand like we never have before because we have to as a community. And we're trying to set an example and a tone that says it's not about us, it's about a better community. So that's our message.
Thank you, and thank you. And thank you for
Absolutely.
bringing that great film about Jamie.
Yeah.
Right.
It's available through you people, right?
Right.
Okay. And again, thanks for joining us, everybody. At the United Way, please do your part. I'm Phil Fatika. Until next time, take care.
You're watching the Millcreek Government Channel, powered by WQLN Public Media.